Notifications should feel like they're helpful, not like they're a desperate girlfriend. Let's say this happens. A user gets 5 notifications in a day. They get annoyed, they get super frustrated, and none of them matter. So the user decides, hey, I'm gonna turn them off. And now you have no way of connecting with them, talking to them, getting a message across. With AI, notifications can even be relevant and useful instead of something that's generic, something that isn't purposeful or moves their action forward. Instead of annoying a user, notifications can be done and crafted to bring them back in. Let's talk about that today. Most notifications are either turned off or ignored, and AI can fix that. It can allow the proper timing and relevancy for any messages or any type of alert being sent to a user. You want that to happen so they can be re-engaged into your app. If that's your jam like it is mine, let's do this. So you receive alerts and notifications from everywhere. If you have Slack open, social media notifications on, YouTube, all of these things can be annoying and they can disrupt your flow state. But let's just say your app was being used to help someone. Really facilitate their actions to complete a task and help them in the best way. You want to not be part of the annoying column of apps that get dismissed or deleted. You want to be something that facilitates and helps them in every way they can. I want you to give this video a like, subscribe if you haven't already. Why you want to add AI notifications anyway? They actually contribute to re-engagement. People download apps just to experience, to tinker with them, to explore, to see exactly what they're like. And then if they're not engaged, not stimulated, then they tend to delete them. But what notifications does, they have the ability to re-engage them, to send them alerts, to kind of notify them like, hey, your usage is low, but I'm here to help you and nudge you in the right way. And they can actually promote re-engagement into a user that really has shown no favoritism after so long. Adding notifications can also increase your click-through rate, or in this case, your tap-through rate. Sometimes reminders are a good thing. We are forgetful with all of the things that inundate our normacy of life. We have alarms for this, we have notifications for that, and doing so can be the reminder you need to actually get through a task, to complete something that's been holding you back. Doing so at the right time can increase that engagement and actually get you to click through or tap through and complete that task. And the last thing I'll say is right time, right place. Adding the right and proper notification can drive users back to what they need to complete at the right time. Since there's a big shift and a need for the right timing, notifications and the proper information for a user can be vital to them going back to that task or completing something at the right time. Take, for example, your taxes. Let's say you started a process but needed another document and you have yet to finish. The right notifications can say, hey, after a day or so, or 2 days or a week before the deadline, I can nudge you or send you a notification that, hey, this needs to be complete so that you are on time. That could be helpful because you have all of these other things going on. That is the exact same way you want to treat notifications in your application. Now that we're talking about it, here's kind of what that looks like in practice. Let's say you have a user that is active. They complete a task or do something based on their behavior to move things along. Notifications can be used and sent based on the user behavior. The example I use with the taxes, it's based on your actions and not based on when or how often you engage with the application. But that also can be a trigger too. Triggers, events, and action. You launching that app can be a trigger to send you a notification that, hey, here is the last state or the last place in which you left off. Complete this so that you can move forward and be done with it. Notifications can also happen and be useful when there is active use occurring. So for example, let's say your peak time of use is between the hours of 5 and 7 p.m. Well, knowing and looking at your behavior patterns within the app, or even your usage of the device, as the designer or the developer can then implement something that allows me to send a notification when you're most active in your device. And this is helpful because now I know you're going to be on it. I know there's a chance, a really strong chance, that you are able to open or engage with my application because you're there. You're in the moment right now. And that is super helpful for not only the product, but for the user to get past whatever stage or step they're in. We've all seen these generic kind of run-of-the-mill blasts or messages. This has the capability of being personalized. I can cater things specific to you so that you are fully aware what to do, what next steps are, and really dive deep into what it is you need to personalize it in the timing and the messaging that you need. So we know that notifications are a thing and we need them, but we don't need to be creepy about it or just, we don't need that. Let's talk about steps on how we do that and make it useful for not only the entrepreneurs or the product owners, but for the users that need to get notified. The first step in this is you would like to track when the users are most engaged. This gives you clarity as to when they're most active, not only in the device, possibly within the app, because you know you have a good sense of when they're actually going to use this device. So now you can pinpoint between 5 and 7, they're going to be active. So let's slide this in within that time range. That is a really good phase to be in. And that's step 1. Step 2 is to identify some key triggers. Remember, triggers, events, actions. So let's say those triggers could be an abandoned cart, an activity, or a milestone. These are phases in which you can use as levers to take an action and send a notification. It's an action that's happening or an inactivity happening. But there are clear-cut signs or phases in the process that you can use to identify when to launch a message. That's step number 2. Step number 3, you're going to use AI to identify the best time to send that notification. It's not 3 a.m. when they're sleeping or 9 p.m. when they're putting their kids to bed, 10 p.m. when they're in an overnight shift or something like that. You're going to understand the behavior in which they have going forward and identify when to actually notify them on what to do. That's step number 3. Step number 4, this is where it gets personalized. You want to personalize the message and the content you're delivering. None of this generic stuff. This is not a run-of-the-mill thing. You're not putting an e-blast out to everyone. You're being very concise and very specific as to the messaging that you're driving home because you want them to take action, not to look, swipe away, or just dismiss, unsubscribe, or delete altogether. Personalization matters. And number 5, this is one step you need to be mindful of. You're going to limit the frequency. You're not going to send it every 5 minutes, every hour on the hour. No, you're going to tailor it specifically for them. This is to avoid fatigue. Once users feel fatigued or frustrated with the fact that you are annoying them, they will bounce. They will delete you, swipe away, they will unsubscribe, they will do all the things to get away from what you're doing as opposed to commit to the action you want them to take. So limit that frequency and be very specific on when you do it. And number 6, as always, you're going to test and optimize based on what you find out. Performance is a thing, and you only understand how to optimize and perform better when you have a baseline. So once you know where you're starting at, then you test and test again and tweak and you refine and you do it so that you can have a level of feedback that you incorporate with improving the product. That's what step 6 is. And you always want to continuously be doing this. I guarantee it. It doesn't matter whether you're building a mobile app, the next Facebook, or the next X or AI tool. Very, very important to test and optimize going forward. Now that you know why you should be doing it, the steps to doing it, let's talk about some of the challenges you may face while you're doing this. And one holds true more than anything is sending too many notifications. All right? Like too many. No, ain't nobody got time for that. Cue the meme. Sending too many can hurt your brand, can hurt anything that you're trying to do. So err on the side of caution, limit it to what you need to send out, what's vital to another action or vital to what steps you want them to take. Keep it that way. And don't go overboard. Just saying. Poor timing. Again, use AI to manage, observe. Sending a notification at the wrong time can be the difference between them taking action to complete a task or taking action to delete your app altogether. Err on the side of that and focus on that timing. We hate generic things. We don't like generic discounts, generic clothing. No, just stay away from generic things. We want to be specific in our messaging. But that's a challenge you need to face. Try to not go generic with your messaging and focus heavily on customizing it for the user's needs and for what you want them to do. I think it's necessary when you have that in place and when you're actually working under those conditions. And once you do all of this and you wrap it up in a pretty little bow as your application, you can expect some better engagement. You can expect users to come back, to connect a little bit more, to take advantage of what task or what messaging you want them to act on. Experience some higher retention because you've sent the right message and it was personalized. You sent it at the right time. So, hey, you just made a notification. That's one less thing I have to worry about cognitively. So why not take action? Expect higher retention if done right. And that comes along with more conversions. All right. We always want the conversions to tell or give signals towards improvement. So these are the things that you can expect if you do these things right. Now, I'm not saying skip a step. I'm not saying even tread lightly. Just be mindful of how you're executing for your users, and you can see the trend go up and to the right for improvement in your application. It doesn't seem like notifications would be a big thing, but I've seen it happen time and time again where notifications is an afterthought or they use system prompts to try to focus their messaging within or some haphazard way to do this. But I'm giving things to you so that you can take some action. So that's all we have today. I hope this video was helpful for you, especially when you're building or thinking about messaging, timing, and all of that for your notifications. Give this video a like if it was helpful for you, because I'm hoping to do my best in sharing that knowledge with you, and share it with someone you feel can benefit from it. Someone who's building a new app or thinking through these things to help re-engage their audience. All right. And if you want to learn more about analytics or predictive AI for your mobile app, click this link or tap this video because it's very much recommended for you. And as always, your life has color, so make sure to design it that way. And we will see you in the next one. Take care. What do you mean you're not going to notify me? You should notify me. I want you to notify me because I like your messaging. I like the way you talk to me. It gives me a bit of flair. It lets me know you have my attention.
Mama.